Um, our next presenter is Elise Lynch. She is Executive Vice President at Kaleidoscope, who is actually one of our gold sponsors. So thank you, Elise. Over the past 20 years, she's honed her research and knowledge of securities research in support of a wide variety of industries, including leading law firms, accounting consultancies, investment companies, and nonprofit fundraising teams. Dedicated to simplifying SEC research, her commitment to client success drives the company's development of solutions that meet client expectations. Elise is a mom to three grown children, sorry. Manages 10 grandchildren, and a great grandmother to 1.5 kids, which I find really hard to believe that you're but I'm not going to call you a liar. So, I mean, well done. So,
you did it, Elise. You did it. It's showing the right view.
Daytime. Yeah. Yay, thank you.
So Elise is going to help us navigate through SEC filings, which I know we all have shared that pain. So,
and Frank, we want to thank Kaleidoscope for sponsoring the whole conference as a gold sponsor.
Yes, they are one of our gold sponsors, and thank you. Take it away, Elise.
Thank you, Frank. I appreciate it very much. And thank you all for joining me with this. I know that every time people talk about or I mention SEC filings, they kind of go, oh, gosh. And some of the comments that we've had is, oh, I'd rather die than have to do SEC filings. Well, if you are using Edgar, you know what I mean. It's really, really difficult to slog through all of those filings and find the pieces of information that you are looking for. And so we've kind of attacked that problem as something that we can do much better than going to Edgar. So if you try to do it, you know what I'm talking about. And if you've got any comments about that, don't hesitate to add this. Okay. We're going to go through a couple of things. You know that there are probably 150 different SEC forms that are, prospectuses and amendments and to all of these different filings. But these are critical to what we know we need to find out about for prospect research. So a lot of times people will start at the proxy statement and they might go to the insider form 4s, but that's as far as they get. And we have a number of ways to utilize and extract information from all of these other things so that you actually get the news, the information about mergers, and how to use tender offer information where there is a hostile takeover or something like that, that could affect your prospect's capacity or their capability. So let's just have a quick look at a couple of other things. I mean, if you tried to do SEC filings on your own, you might end up like this little guy back here who, had a problem and without a lifeline like what we're providing, you might be at the bottom of the ocean in a sea of SEC filings. So, we don't want you there. Let's try to exit the slow lane and be innovative as far as being able to create lists, gift history, wealth summaries, connections, signals, all of those kinds of things that are critical to not only prospect identification, but research as well as development. So let's just keep on going here. We're going to talk a little bit about our background and where we came from. We were 10K Wizard back in the day. And at that point in time, a number of organizations as well as universities used our products. And we were using keywords and Boolean and some extraction and exporting of information. And so those are the kinds of technologies that we were using at that point in time. Then came pattern matching technology, and then machine learning. And now we are at a point in time where we're able to use AI for summarizing and extracting, as well as large language models, which are coming up on our horizon here shortly. So what we found was there's a problem with the kind of SEC research that we typically do, because we know that the SEC created this for not a focus on people, but a focus on filings. So what we've done is we've taken it and turned it on its head, and everything that's related to a person is now connected to them, so that what you see is the ability to create a targeted list based on people's affinity for different things, or their characteristics, and then create these information models, or profiles based on any of this information that comes out in SEC filings, where you're not digging for it anymore. It's already aggregated there for you, and then providing you with the updates and alerts the way you'd like to see them. So that's pretty important. So we're going to look at this kind of thing. So we created a way for you to, in a specific user interface, so that you can create lists. And I'm going to stop it here for just a minute, because I'm going to go back to that slide. We've created this ability for you to, in a nonprofit example, we're using regional kinds of things. So we can search for everybody in Maryland, or you can say, okay, once I got that list, maybe I would like to hone that down a little bit. And we want to find everybody in Maryland who has a salary greater than $1 million. And then we get a list of 105 people. Or then we want to hone it down and say, okay, out of those people, who are people who have gifted shares before? So we've identified those people and flagged them, and provided you with not only the history of their stock gifts, but also, the value of that particular stock gift. Now that is one that's an example that's a one for healthcare and causes and things like that. But if we look at maybe the ability to generate a list for, say, a university in higher ed, we can again generate a list by education, and it'll show me that for a particular college, there is a number of people who are affiliated with the college or graduated from the college. And then we can add additional features or filters to that using insider trading data, such as, I want a stock transaction code that's at a sale and it's greater than $1 million. And here are the kinds of lists of people with their stock transactions and their the amount of money they received for that particular for those particular sales. And then we have the ability to add additional information about them, so that if they've sold stock for $1 million or more, show me all the people who have gifted shares and the calculated value, and I can download all the lists. So you see how we're creating or using technology to help us not only create a list that it would take you months to do, but also then be able to whittle down that list so that you're targeting exactly the people you want to. So then what do you do with the list when it's online? Not a whole lot, other than, share it with some other people. What we have done is created this ability for you to extract or download all of that information into an Excel spreadsheet. And it also provides you with a 36-month accumulation of wealth by looking at the compensation, the value of their stock holdings, as well as any kind of stock sales that they have had in the last 3 years or 12 months, or you can select the time frame that you're looking for. So here again, lists are great. This is what you may be looking for. We've got a lot of clients in the uh, healthcare as well as university settings at higher ed, and they told us what they wanted to see, and we created a user interface and the capabilities so that they can do that. Our profiles are 360-degree profiles. It's everything about a person within SEC filings disclosures. So we don't attack the toys, we don't attack the property, we don't attack, their politics or anything like that. We are totally focused on extracting and getting information for you out of the SEC filings, along with the source links to that information so that you can verify what's going on there. So now a view might look something like this. This is a profile. And above the line, you can see that there is a bio on the left that's extracted from a filing, and there might be multiple filings that you see here, and you can then jump into the filing if you want to. We also provide the university information or the education information that they have acquired during their time at school, and then a financial snapshot. And we find that this is the most exciting thing for folks because it provides you with a summary of the shares sold over the last 36 months or 12 months, and you can toggle between the two, as well as the compensation. This compensation is cash only. It does not include any awards or any options or all other compensation data, which it's not cash to them. And then we take the direct holdings that this person has and summarize that. So you understand pretty quickly in a first pass of, kind of wealth screening, is this somebody worth talking to? That you have an understanding of that person's accumulated wealth to this point in time. Below the line, we start with affiliation. It's not what you know sometimes, it's who you know. And so what we're providing here is all the companies that this person has ever worked with and the persons with whom they have worked. So in this case, Mr. Silverman has worked for American Express and Etsy and Steak Shack or Shake Shack. And for each one of these companies, I can filter for these people and understand better for each person, a similar profile would be created. And then for each of these columns that you see up here, we have all the details about that, including the breakdown in their current holdings, whether it's common stock or options or things like that. So it's a very robust all-in-one kind of profile that you can add to the profiles that you create with for people, including their property and their toys and all those kinds of things. So we know that this is only a small slice of which you aggregate, but it's an important slice to understand the facts about how much they are worth. Okay, not an estimate of those kinds of things. One of the great things that we do, and this is a request from one of our customers at Middlebury College, Nat Caldwell, and he said it would be great if you could calculate the net. So you can put your calculators back in the drawer, because we are taking not only the gross value of the sale, but we're also, if they had to pay any kind of exercise price for that, we'll subtract that from the gross and provide you with the actual amount that person received for the sale. Really helps in understanding better what their capacity is. So now the other thing that we've identified out of SEC filings is a code that shows me that this person has gifted stock before. So what we do is we put a little green ribbon next to their name, and if they've ever had a historical gift of stock, it will provide you with not only all the dates that you see here, but the number of shares they donated and the calculated value of the gift on the date that it was given. And of course, we can use our footnote um, uh, filter to put in charitable, so we know it's a charitable gift to a particular institution or whether it went to a family trust. And that way you understand exactly not only the cycle of gifts, because typically they will give um, gifts of stock at a certain time every year. So if they haven't done so in a while, it may be because of the pandemic or some other reason, but at least you know they have the affinity for doing that. And then, as you export this information, it's great for providing the ability to sort the lists based on the total amount that this person is worth or some other criteria that provides your prospect management people with more information about who do we need to go after, how do we target these people, and of course it changes daily because of the stock market. So you have that ability to see it on a updated basis. So I'm going to go back because this thing is being naughty. One of the other things that we can show you is from not only a person point of view, but from a company point of view, all the people that are on the board of directors as officers and as well as board of directors, and all the other companies that they serve as board of directors for. So these are the extenuating contacts that they have with other board members. And we have some new technology coming out for that. So that's going to be fun. We also have a library of curated searches. So if you don't, if you want to, do some deeper dives into SEC filings and find, charitable foundations or endowments or corporate foundations, we have the ability to do that. And these are already set up for you in our little KS library. We have a section specifically for prospect research. So all you have to do is go there and click on one of those searches and away you go. You can modify them to meet your particular criteria. One of the things that we have in there is, finding the future vesting dates of options or shares that are either restricted stock units or their performance stock units and the dates with when they are going to be vested. And all of that information is absolutely critical to your prospect management people and your gift officers so that they can be ready to time the ask when it is the right time as opposed to not knowing. So the other thing that we do with all of this is to make this information actionable. The real-time alerts that we offer provide you with new sales, acquisitions of information, and so that you know either ahead of time if somebody has purchased a large number of shares, we can set up alerts that will help you to understand ahead of time whether their portfolio is growing or if they have sold off some shares, do they have some cash immediately, or other things that are happening? Have they been in the news, etc.? Okay, so that was all the things that we created in the first year of the product that we have called Insider Focus. And the new flexible alerts that we have are based a lot on the AI technology. So we're looking at not only alerts on people of any description, alumni groups of people, or locations, so that we can say find new people who are in this area. We can find their new compensation, any new transactions, meaning other things other than sales, and then any new sales. So that gives you a ripe opportunity to find good information about people. And Mike Foote at Dartmouth said, gee, I really would like it if we could understand what school they were with, because they had a large group of people who do fundraising for different schools. So if you're in one of those situations, and you've got a team like Columbia has, a team for the law school, a team for the business school, a team for, whatever else, medical school you've got. Here's an opportunity for you to winnow a huge list down into a smaller list that you can target for your teams. So the other opportunity you have is to work with us. Our ears are always open and listening to what our clients are looking for. And this was, again, another request by a client who said, I'd like to see all the directors of all my alumni, whoever they are, and where they can be influential. And so we created this ability for him to search by the titles of these particular people and then create a list from there. So the point is about lists is that it gives you the ability to use your imagination about how you want to target specific people on their criteria. Now, the next thing we added this summer was the ability to see if this stock has appreciated. So here I have a list of people who are known donors of stock, as you can see from the greenery. I also know that what their title is at all these particular companies. And we also know where the stock is doing so that in advance, we can tell that it's appreciated significantly from early on. And we can see the stock movement and the performance of that over a 12-month period. And you can select the period that you would like to see. Obviously, the darker green means that it's, performing really well. The red is it's underperforming. So that's not an ask that you might want to make. This just gives you a heads up and a better understanding of what you can see or appreciate from that particular group of people. Now, earlier on, I had spoken about stock holdings. And this is a picture of some of the things that we do. We understand what the common stock is and what yesterday's closing price was. And we can then calculate what the value of those holdings are. And these are the shares that that person still has. And the multiplication is pretty simple here. However, if you've got options or rights to buy at a future point in time, these are all the grant dates that were given, the number of shares that were granted on that date, and the exercise price that that person would have to pay. So you can tell right away whether they're underwater or if that person still has time to, exercise that conversion. Usually there's a bunch of footnotes over here that tell us when they vest, as well as what percentages there are as well. Now, moving right along, we have also included in our databases of news and other information the ADV filings that private equity people have surrendered or disclosed at any given point in time. This example will show you that this is the filing and the amount under regulatory management. So we understand that this is a pretty big group of people who do private equity and investment advisors. It also provides you with all kinds of information about the directors and all the historical filings, as well as the current brochures. Helps a lot when you're understanding how big that particular fund is and if they are connected with other people that you know in your database. So this is more about private money, as well as who's in charge of that money and how you can get to them specifically. All right. So now, besides ADV filings, we are working on using our AI technology and large language models, how to connect people so that you can, discover how do I get to Charles Buckner from this particular person, Robert Diamond? Is it a direct connection, or do I need to go through some other person here? But it will provide you with the map for connecting with other people. And like I said before, it's not necessarily what you know, but who you know. And all these are connections that are created from our large language models. So we're looking at biographies of people across the board, and wherever they have similar information or they've served on similar boards at similar times, we can then cross-reference those to provide you with a better understanding of what's going on with that particular connection. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about creating target lists. We've talked a little bit about showing the profiles. I didn't show you the analytic tools, but there is a tool there that gives you that information. We're now doing summaries of events that are happening for any particular company or person, and their appointments to particular boards, etc. And providing you with more information about the press releases. And what we found in press releases is that we can find a lot of information about private companies and individuals with connections to higher ed, etc., who are not in public company venues that you would find in SEC filings, but a lot of great information about people who are in private companies as well. So this is kind of the model that we're going for, and we hope that this will provide you with some of the information that you will need to update your profiles with that you create, and useful in that it provides you with all of the links to every single source of any data point. And so that's kind of the end of my presentation for, really exiting the slow lane for SEC filings. It takes seconds. I know that in talking with Jen Filla, which many of you know Jen from the Prospect Research Institute, she says, man, this is just, I never knew that it could be so simple. So there's somebody who, really knows about this. I also want to share with you that we do some educational things, not product demonstration, but education about different things. We're going to be looking at private equity and ADV filings and what they offer to people. And a nice 30-minute presentation on those on November the 13th. If you'd like to join us, just simply register online at webinars and we'll be happy to help you. Okay, well, listen, thank you all very much. I'd love to answer any questions if you've got some.
Yeah, thank you so much, Elise. We've gotten a lot of comments saying that, like, this is incredible. What a powerful tool. One question we have is, how does your company handle common names to ensure data is matched to the correct person?
Okay, that's a good question. We take that person's name, Joe Schmo, and because we know what company he worked for, and through his Form 4s and SEC filings, we're able to create a CIK number, or we pick up that person's central index key. And that central index key is a number that is assigned to that insider by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So if they have ever been awarded shares and had a transaction, that information will be in there. And that's how we match individuals up.
Another question we have is there a light version to your organization's different product offerings for companies with tight budgets?
Okay. Well, we think that the product itself is pretty inexpensive. It retails online for nonprofit organizations for $17.95 per person for the year. And for universities, we have a significant discount. So that goes down to about $13.50 a year per person. So rather than, you know, you don't have to buy 100 million seats. You can mix and match how you need to have them within your organization. Is that satisfactory? Is that something that works for you guys?
Yeah, I think so. So. Do we have any other questions? If you do, feel free to put in the chat, or you can unmute yourself.
Frank, there was one more earlier on. It was, Elise, how does the product source the gifts from stocks?
Okay. Well, let me just let you know that on every Form 4, there is a transaction code, and the transaction code is a G. Okay. And for each transaction that has a G, that's how we extract the information that's pertinent to that particular gift. So we know what date it was done on, we know how many shares there were, and we know any footnotes that go along with that particular transaction. And then we calculate, using our stock data, we calculate the value of the gift based on the date that it was given.
I love that you have real technical answers for us. We love it. And Apra.
Well, I've been working at it for a little while. Thank you.
Any more questions, anyone?
I know this was a lot shorter presentation than you had probably expected, but is there anything else you'd like me to go over?
Sure, we have one more question. Can you go over those numbers again of cost?
Cost, sure. Okay, so if you are a nonprofit consulting organization, the rate for those organizations is $17.95 per person per year. So that's $1,795 per person per year. There are discounts for multiple users. Okay. For universities and nonprofits like hospitals, etc., there is a significant discount we offer. It starts at $13.95 per person per year. And again, there are discounts for multiple users.
So at least that's for like for a prospect researcher at an institution using it, right? It's like a seat.
Yes, that's exactly
okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And that includes all the alerting that you want to do. There's so many pieces to this product where you can save your searches, you can save your alerts, you can share searches with other people to enable, you know, that collaborative kind of research that you typically do with teams.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, hopefully we can talk with you or Christina about, you know, keeping this collaboration going with Kaleidoscope and Apra Maryland, and maybe there's an opportunity to offer, you know, a little bit of an extra discount to Apra Maryland members. Potentially, we can explore that.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, we've done that before with vendors, like an exclusive project,
Okay,
product offering. So yeah.
sounds great. One other thing, Christina has gone on to other things, and so you can always get in touch with me. Okay, on this particular project, we have a new person named Holly, and Holly Pascal, and she is Holly at Kaleidoscope.io, and she would be more than happy to help us do anything that you guys are interested in doing. We're happy to support all of our Apra chapters as well as we can.
Wonderful. And just for clarity, the nonprofit pricing is also for healthcare and hospitals, right? So
yes, absolutely. It's only consultants, so we're talking about the BWS and the those kinds of folks who will pay a regular retail price because they're, supporting multiple clients.
Sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. I appreciate that design.
Well, we know that you guys have tightening budgets all the time. And this year, particularly with whatever has been going on in the education sector, it's just been really hard. So, we're open to helping.
Awesome. Wonderful. Well, all of our members will have access to this recording and to your contact information. So if they want to explore more.
One more thing, Frank.
Yeah.
We offer 14-day free trials, and we're happy to help you. We do a onboarding kind of thing to help you maximize your trial to make sure it works for you in your environment. And it's a good product for maybe a single prospect researcher at a small university, or it pays for itself. Honestly, it's a really good option.
Yeah, definitely. This is great. I mean, especially from my personal experience of scrolling through pages and pages of SEC filings.
Awful, isn't it?
Yeah. You have a problem when you start to enjoy it and you're like, oh, this is kind of comforting to read through all this, but
The only thing that the ones that I find terribly interesting are the activist investors who get onto a company like Exxon or McDonald's or Apple, and they have all these demands and they're complaining loudly and wah, 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 wah. Anyway, it's kind of fun.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And we actually, nice surprise for everyone. If there are no more questions, then we can actually have a longer break. So we'll reconvene at noon, where CJ Jarman from the Children's Healthcare of Atlanta will talk about basically a case study of how they're using AI to help with all of their research and fundraising. So stay tuned.